You're in the cosmic realm. Little pogoing around. Let's just pull a little volume off of that right now. What's up, vinyl community? Welcome to Cosmic Vinyl. I'm Cosmic Brian, of course. Of course, y'all know that because I'm crazy like a kook. How y'all doing, man? You guys doing all right? I've been watching your videos, man, out there. You guys are killing it. Love you guys, man. Friggin' been watching lots of these punk rock videos and getting into it heavily, rekindling my love for punk rock, which I had kind of moved away from for a while there, getting into the more psychedelic stuff. But it's guys like Ryan Kidd and Jason Stills and Jason Skills. Sorry, I keep saying Jason Skills. And Garner, High Octane Revival, man, the god of the vinyl community. God, I'm so glad that Garner's back doing videos on the reg. Oh man, so killer. Anyway, oh, another cat, man. Another punk rock guy, Hyper Viper. I know, have you guys heard of him? I'm sure you have. Man, this is a guy that's trying to get his footing here in the vinyl community. He's got lots of videos, shows lots of punk rocks and other stuff too, man. You guys gotta check him out. He's funny. Shows a lot of great records. So yeah, I'm totally envious. I got LP envy. Anyway, thank you for all the new subscribers out there, man. Appreciate it. Thank you for all the people that show up in the comment section, video after video. I love for me, the comments thing is where I get to mix it up, and I love that. So anyway, this video I've been kind of working on for a while. I actually shot it once already. It went out to about almost 40 minutes. I'm like, no one's gonna watch this thing. So I had to really scale it back. So here's the thing. I used to live down in Dallas, Texas. And in fact, I moved down there a couple times. First time I lived down there in the mid 80s. Last time was like late 80s, maybe into the early 90s. But a couple of guys that I lived with down there and best friends of mine who are also originally Iowa boys, we got this we're kind of a squad. We're kind of a collective, if you will. A gang. We're running buddies, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, they're guys that I stay in contact with all the time, daily. And they've been kind of prodding me to do this Dallas, Texas music, show some of my Dallas, Texas music stuff. And they've even been helping me gather like the content and stuff. Anyway, we're called the Gleam Team. It's just a name that kind of stuck. So I'm gonna give a shout out to my boy Screech, Chad Lunn, and his twin brother Scott, the Perch Lunn, and their younger brother Sam, also known as Merms. Those are my boys. We do every week we do, like on the weekends, we do like a Zoom forum thing. And we talk about everything. We talk about music, movies. We talk about silly shit like Bigfoot and UFOs and paranormal and rock and roll. I mean, all kinds of crazy stuff, right? The occult. I mean, it's a really great time, and these guys have been coaxing me to do this Dallas video. So here's what I want to do here. I tried to like do this whole thing where I did a history and everything. It's just not gonna work, but I will give you a kind of a brief history of how I landed in Dallas. Okay, so there were some friends of mine, like 4 other guys, and they were in bands and played, guitar and sang, and some other of our buddies were already down in Dallas, and there was a good scene down there, so they you know, they basically told us, yeah, you guys come on down. So I had a party van, so I had enough to haul all our shit, all our equipment, and so we loaded up that party van and hit the fucking road to Dallas, Texas. Now, we arrived there on a shoestring. I mean, we had the housing off of the van and the inside. My buddy's like operating the carburetor with a number 2 pencil just to keep this thing rolling. I mean, it was dying. It was gasping its last breath. And we literally pulled into the parking lot, into the parking space where we needed to be in the apartment complex, and it just went where it sat for quite a while before I got it fixed. But anyway, we started like getting our footing down there in Dallas. Guys got in bands. We'd go out and see bands. We'd go to a place called Deep Ellum, which is this basically what would be in the equivalent of like the Sunset Strip in LA. This place had clubs like On the Rocks, Trees, Club Dada, Club Clearview, Galaxy Club, July Alley, Curtain Club, and then of course you had like these tattoo shops, and you had record stores. I mean, it was like a strip. I mean, and then on the weekends, people would be on, the streets would be full of people who would be going to see in and out of clubs, seeing bands, and it was so cool too. Like when you stepped out of On the Rocks, I mean, it was downtown, and you step out, and right above you is this like overpass, like from the freeway. It was just like so urban, and it was just like, it was the streets, it was street level, and it was just so great. What a great time, man. And then the channel, the rock and roll channel was Z-Rock, and it was like the hard rock channel and heavy metal channel. It was like the soundtrack of our existence back then. And so we would start, and then there was, clubs that weren't downtown in Deep Ellum, like the Basement, Dallas City Limits, Hard Rock Cafe, places like that, and probably several other places that I'm forgetting, but we'd go out and see bands all the time. My friends were in bands like Soakin' Wet, July Alley, Dancing with Manson, Dirt Cheap, all these bands. And we'd go see some of our favorite bands at the clubs, like Burlesque, Sweet Savage, Naked Zoo, and especially a band called, they used to be called Roxanne, but they were called DT Rocks. They had changed their name. And I picked up this, at some point along the line, I picked up this 7-inch. And it's, the sleeve is a little bit banged up, but other than that, this thing is a rarity. You will not see this anywhere. And on side A is a song called Conversation Piece, and on side B is a song called Gang Bang. Now you gotta understand, this was back in the mid '80s when hair bands and sleaze rock were the thing of the day. I mean, listen to these guys' names. On drums, Kenny Sizlove. On vocals, Daryl Licht, also Daryl Beach. Magic Mark Taylor on guitar, and Keith Long on bass. This is a great rock and roll 7-inch right here. Just something that I'll probably never let go of. I've never seen another one of those. I think I've seen somebody show a picture of one on YouTube once. But anyway, we'd go see bands like them, and there's another band that we would go see quite a bit that were pretty popular down in Dallas, and that's Lord Tracy. Now Lord Tracy is on the Uni label there, I think of maybe MCA Records. But anyway, on the Uni label, this was actually sent to me via VCLT from one Aaron Mutha Alamere. showed it on a video. I commented how I used to party with these guys down in Dallas. He sent me the record. It's called Deaf Gods of Babylon. The singer for this band, Terry Glaze, was also at one point hired on to be the guitar player, and then became the vocalist of Pantera on Pantera's first 3 hard rock glam metal albums, which I'll talk more about in a minute here. But this is an absolutely amazing record. It's bluesy hard rock, and there's some humor tinge to it. Great songs, like party songs like Out with the Boys, East Coast Rose, She's a Bitch. And then there's like funny songs like Three-Headed Chick, Submission, Piranha. And then you've got even a couple of really cool ballads, Foolish Love and The Chosen Ones. This, every time I spin this, brings back such great memories. Now, they were a band that were kind of too late for like the hair band thing, and they weren't really a hair band anyway. They were more of a party band, but they were kind of too early for the grunge thing too, so they didn't really find a place. So, but this is they have a couple other albums, but this is their primo album right here. Yeah, they're from Dallas, Texas. And then, of course, as I mentioned, Pantera. Now, before Cowboys from Hell came out in 1990, and they unleashed that heaviness on the world, Pantera were a kick-ass club band in the Dallas, Arlington area. And like I said, Terry Glaze was the first singer for the 3 first albums, which were basically glam metal. And then they let Terry Glaze go, or he left, or whatever story you believe. And then they took a hiatus, so you didn't see him for a while. They were this, glam band, and then they didn't see him. Then they came back, and everybody was saying, they're not the same band they used to be, so don't expect to see, the party band, blah, blah, blah. And anyway, what they did is they replaced Terry with Phil Anselmo, a guy from Louisiana who was in a band called Razor White, who was another band I seen down in Dallas too after Phil left. They were a great band as well. And they came out with a much heavier sound, heavier look. I remember Phil had the sides of his head shaved, but he still had long hair. And he did this thing where he'd whip his head around, and he had his hair would go around like a helicopter. It was fantastic. They filmed their first video for their first single off Cowboys from Hell, the title track, at the club The Basement. And if you go back and watch that video on MTV, you can see in the background where it says The Basement behind the band. But yeah, I don't have Cowboys from Hell. It's hard to come by. But I do have this collection of hits called History of Hostility. It's got Cowboys from Hell, Cemetery Gates, Mouth for War, Walk, Fucking Hostile, 5 Minutes Alone, Drag the Waters. This is a great collection of Pantera songs, and good sounding cut too. So, moving right along, another band that used to like to check out down there is a band called Course of Empire. Now this is a 12-inch single that has several mixes of the same song called Infested. It's got the white label there. Course of Empire were a hard-edged, post-industrial, post-punk, alt-rock band, also from Dallas, Texas. At their early shows, they would dole out these large drums throughout the audience, and the audience would play along with the band, because the band was a very percussion driven band. And of course, once they caught on and the band started gaining more of a following, they had to stop the practice of putting the drums out in the audience, because soon the drums became projectile missiles and people were getting knocked on their ass with a flying drum, right? So anyway, just initially songs that were political, environmentally conscious stuff, and about how mankind is fucking up the planet. And then they kind of moved on to like conspiracy theory stuff and you know, personal search for spirituality and whatnot. But yeah, two drummers. It's a hard, like I said, hard-edged industrial guitars over very precise driving drum beats. Good stuff. I mean, great stuff. I hope to find some of their albums instead of just that single, but that's all I have for now. Also gifted to me by one of my Gleam Team members. And then one of my favorite bands down in Dallas, or from Dallas, is a band called Trippy Daisy. This is their first album, which I don't have on vinyl. It's called Bill. This has got like a lot of, they're a trippy, like neo-psychedelic band. Started in like 1990, I suppose. Lots of vocal augmentation on this, unconventional guitar riffs, very trippy, something you might want to smoke up a little ganja and listen to. And then their second album came out. This was their commercial breakthrough. I Am an Elastic Firecracker. And look at that, that's just a crazy cover. This guy covered in this like goopy stuff. But anyway, this was fantastic. They had a single off this called I Got a Girl. I got a girl who lives with me. I got a girl, she smells so sweetly. I got a girl, she is so right. I got a girl, she's my guiding light. And just stream it. I'm sure they'll do much better job than I just did. Anyway, Trippy Daisy. This is a personal grail of mine to find on vinyl. I actually have let it slip through my fingers twice now. It's one of those regrettable things that you didn't pick up when you had the chance. And man, take it from me, you'll never regret buying something. You'll always regret something that you didn't buy, though. A friend of mine, Dan, from Dan's Vinyl Channel, told me that. Anyway, this is their third record. They're starting to re-release all their albums on vinyl, so I might get another shot at that. I'm Elastic Firecracker, but this is Jesus Hits like a time bomb. This is much more experimental, much more trippy, little, maybe even a little darker, but come on 2 discs. First one's on this baby blue marble vinyl, and the second one is on this really killer pink marble vinyl as well. Just some beautiful wax there. These guys are just so awesome, man. Just very, like I said, their name fits. It's Trippy Daisy. They're just very trippy, very fun, quirky lyrics, just some great, full of hooks, just hooks galore. Great stuff. I love these guys. I don't think that's going to stay there, so we're going to just move that down here. Hopefully I won't trip over it. Unfortunately, in 1999, the guitar player was found dead of a drug overdose in his apartment. He OD'd on I guess there was a combination of cocaine, propoxyphene, and benzos. Now, propoxyphene's like this opioid, version of dextromorphan that's like in cough syrup, so who knows what he was up to. Anyway, the band basically broke up after he died, and couple of the Tim DeLauder, the guy that started Trippy Daisy, took a couple of the other guys and formed Polyphonic Spree. If you guys want to check out a killer cover of Nirvana's Lithium, do a stream of Polyphonic Spree's Lithium. Just really great stuff. They're like a chamber pop psych band. So, all right, let's get on to like the punk rock stuff. So this is some hardcore Dallas punk rock. Now, Dallas's punk scene was an odd sort of punk. There was just so many weirdness to it. Guys wearing dresses, cowboy hats, just weirded out punk stuff. I mean, you know, we weren't far from Austin, and Austin had a kind of a thriving scene as well. And, you know, you got your butthole surfers and the hickoids, and you got just some weird punk. Let's put it that way. Anyway, this is a band that was started by a guy named Turner Van Barkum, and that's Turner right there on the back. But this is Pumpin' Ethel, formerly known as Ethel Merman, but they had to change their name due to the actress's estate trying to sue their asses. But they got songs like Waco, I Hate Work, Betty Ford Clinic, Thank God I'm Living in the USA, Jesus Was a Homo, Going to Hell. They even do like this weird cover where they change the songs of We Got the Beat by the Go-Go's. It's hilarious. But these guys are great hardcore driving punk rock. Turner Van Barkum is famous for his being in speed metal bands and also being at the head of the hardcore scene down in Dallas. But he's also famous for giving Kurt Cobain of Nirvana a beat down at Trees Club down in downtown Dallas. The story is that Nirvana, Nevermind, had broke big right before they came to play Trees. So the band wanted more security at the show because it's a small venue and they knew it was going to be packed, but they wanted more security. So the club hired a bunch of local guys to work security, and one of those was Turner Van Barkum, and he was right up front. I mean, front and center on the stage, right in front of Kurt. And Kurt kept coaxing the crowd to come forward to the stage. And once he got him in a full fervor, he threw himself into the crowd with his guitar and everything. And here's Turner trying to get him back in, you know, because the crowd was going to tear him apart. And apparently Kurt thought he was being a little bit too aggressive, trying to drag him back on stage. So he smacks Turner with his guitar, right? And then Turner drags Kurt on stage and starts, punches him in the jaw and then starts putting the boots to him, right? And so then, it's full of chaos and everybody's like, and then Kurt goes and hides in a broom closet, and the band and the club's like, no, you got to finish the show. And so they get back on stage, they finish the show. Make a long story short, they jump in a cab. Well, Turner's waiting, and he ambushes the cab and breaks the window out of the cab with his hand. And I bet Nirvana never. I think I heard that Courtney Love is still trying to seek revenge for that deal. Good stuff. Anyway, Turner Van Barkum, the famous guy that gave Kurt Cobain a beatdown. Here's some of their crazy flyers here. Cool Pumpin' Ethel like sticker there. I love stickers. Another flyer. Got some more flyers here. I showed this not too long ago, actually. I think I showed all these flyers as well. There is one in particular that I want to show because it's got a good picture of the band on it. And it's this one right here, and there's the band right there. Kind of see it there. Great flyer. I love these like DIY like flyer stuff. It's always, punks are always famous for that. And of course it comes on this killer red vinyl with the custom custom label here. Pumpin' Ethel. Great stuff. So anyway, and now on to the main event, which is the Loco Gringos. So Loco Gringos is a self-titled. This is like cowpunk. It's not your usual punk though. I have to kind of tell a story. They were more, if any band in Dallas could out-party any band in that city, it would be the Gringos. They were more famous for their antics than they were probably for their music. But these guys were freaking amazing. They had like this Mexican theme to their music, or to their image. And so, you know, they're on stage, they'd have like a cow skull here, cactuses, sombreros, and they'd always have haystacks, and the haystacks would get torn to ribbons, and it'd be like this redneck confetti all through the crowd. But yeah, they had, from the name Loco Gringos, even their names in the band, the lead singer's name was Pepe Lopez, the drummer's name was Pablo Cruz, the bassist name was Pancho Cuervo, and the guitarist was Paco T. Blanco. And they lived in this party pad called the Gringos Manor, and it was never ending. Somebody always had to stay and keep the party going. So after everybody passed, there always had to be one guy to keep the party going. And their sound was like a wry, sexual, lurching cowpunk, with underlying like Latin and island type grooves to it. And Pepe Lopez's delivery was kind of like, you know, like the early Primus stuff where he's like almost like talking but is fat, you know, just rapid fire. Pepe was kind of like that, and the guitar player just absolutely destroys on this. But these guys had a certain punk psychedelic chemistry that was amazing. So lots of good stories about this band. I'm gonna try and tell one. There was always their favorite beer was Schaefer's, which they indicate on the cover here. They also had this hearse that was like decorated in Day of the Dead, and they also had a short bus with a Mexican flag painted on it. They always had corn dogs on and off stage, abundance of corn dogs. So that was kind of their thing. And they had, you know, they had this like thing where they burned it was like the burning burro, and I assume it was like a piñata that they set on fire at every show. But yeah, this is great. You got your mushrooms here, got your fruit fly here, which is one of the songs. It's just great. But they were going to play a gig at this club, right? Pepe shows up. He's barefoot, right? And the door Nazi isn't gonna let him in, whether he's playing that night or not, unless he's got some shoes on, right? So he goes out to the vehicle and he fashions himself a pair of shoes, and when he comes back in, he's wearing these Schaefer 12-pack containers that he fashioned into shoes with duct tape. And so he's wearing these 12-pack containers as shoes, and I guess he wore them all night. Sometimes he would wear a barrel with suspenders and walk around. You have to know that this band was like, their live shows were less about the music and more about this chaotic performance art and connecting with their fans. But yeah, this is great stuff. The great cover art here. They all had dreadlocks. It was a great look. You guys just go online on YouTube. Check out Loco Gringos. It's fantastic. Great album here too. And then the vinyl is like this Coke bottle with like some black streaks in it. Good stuff. Anyway, that's my Dallas video. I want to maybe make a series out of this as I find more of my Dallas stuff. Maybe infuse some more Austin stuff with it. So hope you guys dug it. Again, thanks for all the new subs. Thanks for all the guys that always show up. And man, just keep rocking, keep pumping out videos, and for all God's sake, stay confident.